Guys, I just finished that god awful movie Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Yeah, you want my thoughts? This is just the beginning of what I thought about this freaking movie. Let me let the nostalgia critic say something about this. Hold on. Listen to this. There's a rip off. There's a rip off. Are you kidding? Yeah, this movie was a rip off. I am so glad I did not see this in the theater. You guys that put this movie in the top 10 best films of last year are freaking higher than a kite. These movies did not need a freaking backstory about how the Death Star plans were stolen and given to the rebels. These movies are perfect. I'm going to say this right now to Disney, Lucasfilm, Garrett Edwards, freaking all these people that worked on this freaking movie. You can never top this. Ever. Ever. These movies are freaking perfect. This trilogy will never be touched. I don't care what kind of freaking movies you make. This movie sucked. This movie made the prequels look like freaking Godfather in comparison. Yes, the prequels, the movies that get so much freaking hate, the movies that get ridiculed and get destroyed by critics. This movie was worse than any of the prequels, any of them. Darth Maul is more of a villain than anybody in this freaking movie. Darth Vader scenes are the only good things in this film. You have one scene where he's talking to a guy, and it's a cool scene because you got the Darth Vader suit, you got the freaking voice, and he does something to him. Then at the end, he's killing a bunch of rebels, and that is it. This movie was boring. I hated this freaking movie. I hate every fiber of my being of this freaking movie. Every fiber of my freaking being. The fact that Disney has raped this franchise ever since 2015 when they did episode 7. But you know what? Episode 7 had better action sequences than this. Yes, it did. Because it wasn't just rehashed. They had different scenes. It wasn't a freaking, oh, remember that from the original? Remember that from the original? Remember that from the original? No, these movies are perfect the way they were. They didn't need a backstory of freaking the Death Star and all these useless characters that were soulless, and I hated every single one of them. Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones, is a freaking zombie in this movie. The whole movie, she's like this, with her eyes open the whole freaking time. Her eyes are open like she's coked out of her mind. Is she worse than Daisy Ridley? No, because I had no hope for this girl from the moment word go. She's just a zombie. She does nothing. She's not a strong character. She does nothing for me. I know Brian is going to say, oh my God, John, you're just overreacting. I don't like Brits in my Star Wars movies. The only Brits that matter were in the freaking originals. Yes, Alec Guinness, Peter Cushing, and freaking, Anthony Daniels and Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker. Those were the most important Brits in this franchise. These new people, I could give a damn about them. Cassian Andor, freaking this guy, I hated every single scene he was in. He's freaking Mexican Drake Bell. He has no screen presence, he has a horrible accent, and he can't act. And when him and Jin die at the end, it's useless. It's freaking useless. I'm going to tell you a movie that got a lot of praise, that made a lot of money, that was way better than this freaking train wreck of a disaster movie, wannabe fan fiction Star Wars hybrid. This. Deadpool. This movie was freaking better. This movie had a dark tone, but it wasn't boring. It had a lead that I cared about. It was funny. It had a good atmosphere. It was poking fun of itself. It wasn't being super serious. It wasn't being, oh, this is Saving Private Ryan for Star Wars fans. No, it's not. This movie is a freaking cry for help. This movie made $1 billion. This movie didn't, but you know what? It's better. It's shorter. It was funnier. It was more fun. The action sequences are more bloodier, and they're better than this freaking movie ever will be. And I hate this movie. I hated every single freaking nitpick of it. The writing was horrible. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. Donnie Yen just annoyed me in this movie with that freaking speech. Every time he said that, I wanted to punch him in his freaking blind eye. And I don't hate Donnie Yen. But if I want to see Donnie Yen, I'll see one of his films he made overseas. I don't want to see this movie ever again. Like I said, these movies are perfect. You don't need a freaking movie to ever rehash and retcon what happened in the original. We didn't need to see a CGI Peter Cushing, which looked weird. The actor's dead. You can't do anything else with him. He died in 1994. May he rest in peace. Carrie Fisher died 2 months ago, and I'm still feeling that. And seeing her CG image on a freaking body of another woman just felt out of place. And I'm sorry, you are never gonna top these movies, Lucasfilm and Disney. You're never gonna top them. Ever. All of these movies have flaws, especially the prequels, but they weren't soulless and lifeless and freaking boring. They weren't. They were not freaking boring. The Phantom Menace, all the taxation things and the Trade Federation and the freaking the Viceroy and all of that, I will take all of that over anything in this freaking movie. I will, because it did not bore me to death. And I saw that movie in the theater twice, in 1999 and in 2012. That freaking movie right there. Wait, no, my bad. No, wait. I'm sorry. That Yeah, I don't even know where it is. It's right behind me, right there. That freaking movie got so much flack, and they said it's a turd and it's the worst Star Wars movie ever made. No, this is one of the worst. I'm sorry. Oh, the visual effects look competent. It's a movie that costs over $200 million. It's not going to look like crap. But I'm sorry. It reminded me why I'm going to always love this and I'm going to hate these freaking movies. Screw your SJW freaking Star Wars hybrids, Lucasfilm and Disney. Screw them right in the freaking face. I'm sick of this. This cast does nothing. The movie's too long. The first hour of the movie is nothing. It's backstory of a character I didn't care about in the freaking slightest. Not in the freaking slightest. Every time she's on screen, I wanted to just poke her in the eye. That you know how her and freaking Cassian Andor die? They don't even get killed by Darth Vader. The freaking Death Star shoots a beam and they die in the blast. How anticlimactic is that? How? How? This movie does nothing. Nothing happens in this freaking movie that I didn't already see in these three movies. These unaltered classics of cinema that will live forever. You're not going to top this, Rogue One. You're not going to top this Young Han Solo movie. You're not going to top this episode 8, 9, 25. I don't care. These films are going to live forever. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not changing my mind. After I see The Last Jedi in December, I'm done with this freaking franchise. I am never watching another movie again in the theater if it means we're going to get more of this SJW crap. I'm sick and tired of this. I don't need this to be my new Star Wars. Millennials are going to eat this up because they're freaking stupid when it comes to this franchise. This is not my Star Wars. This is my Star Wars. This. All of these freaking movies. And hold on, because I'm not done yet. I'm going to rant on this freaking movie, why it was such a turd. Even this movie felt more like a Star Wars movie, Civil War. This movie made me forget about episode 7. And it did a great job. It has characters that I was connected with. I was not connected with a single character in this freaking movie. Not Donnie Yen, not freaking Jyn Erso, not freaking Cassian Andor, not the robot. You made a robot boring in this freaking movie, Gary Edwards. Go screw yourself. You know why? Godzilla 2014, I could give that the pass because I loved Godzilla. That movie was not as boring as this. Yeah, it needed more Godzilla, but we're gonna get that in the sequel because you're not directing it. So go screw yourself, Garrett Edwards. Go screw yourself, J.J. Abrams, because you're the one responsible for this resurgence. You are responsible, sir. You freaking directed the last one before this one, and you screwed it up. This is more of a Star Wars movie. I cared about these characters more. Black Widow is a better character than Jyn Erso. Yeah, Brian, go ahead. Say whatever you want. She kicks ass in this movie. Black Widow, she kicks ass in this movie. She is a stronger character. Even Scarlet Witch is a better character than freaking Jyn Erso. She doesn't even have the Force. The only one that does is freaking Donnie Yen, and he's barely in the movie. Forrest Whitaker, this is his acting, and this is the second worst performance he's done since Battlefield Earth. Oh, Jin, oh, you gotta do this. Oh my God, I sound like I'm 9 years old. That's his performance for the 10 minutes he's in the freaking movie. What a waste of an actor. And the other guys that were with them, some Indian, Australian dude, whatever the hell his name is, that names the ship, he was freaking useless too. The only thing in this movie that worked was Darth Vader. He will always be the best villain in this entire franchise. Guess what, Lucasfilm? The only reason that people go to see these movies is because the Skywalkers are always in it. Always. Always. The prequels had Anakin, the originals had Luke and Leia, and these new movies have Darth Vader, who was Anakin Skywalker. So screw you. And screw your Han Solo movie. I didn't even see the guy that played Han Solo. Luckily, I think because I saw the movie online, I didn't want to pay for it because I'm never buying this movie. Ever. My friend Sean enjoyed it. Josh enjoyed it. Parker, fine. I'm not going to say you're dumb. Okay? I'm not going to say you're dumb because it's your opinion. You can like whatever you want. It's not my right to judge. But I hated this freaking movie. This would have been my worst film of last year if I saw it last year in the theater. I would have thrown a tirade that would have been the mother of all tirades. I hate that they freaking went back into the original and raped it for all it's worth, saying, oh, we got to give a backstory to the original movie. We don't need it anymore, okay? Go screw yourself, Lucasfilm and Disney. I'm done. Last Jedi is my last freaking stand with this franchise. I don't care about Episode 9 anymore. The young Han Solo movie can go eat ass. I'm done with that. I'm not going to see any more of this. I'm done. Okay? I'm done. I can only be raped so much on freaking screen. I felt like I was watching a fan film made by a freaking major studio that was released, would have been on YouTube Red last year. You know, I don't understand why Star Wars went to shit as much as it did now. That it's making money for nostalgia's sake and nothing else because they want to throw memory berries in my face. Well, take this in your face. Right in your freaking face, Hollywood, for doing this. I'm done. Fembusters was already bad enough last year. The only thing that made me smile in the beginning of the film was when K2SO slaps at Cassian Andor right in the face. That was the only thing that made me chuckle. Everything else was freaking useless. The Arabelle line is not even in the freaking movie. This movie got Suicide Squad. Yeah, they reshot the movie to make it more fun. It's not fun. It's boring. It's boring. I'm so sick of this franchise being boring. Star Wars has never been boring to me. The Clone Wars movie sucks, but at least it has something in it. It has some decent animation. This didn't feel like Star Wars at all. Just two scenes when Darth Vader shows up and when he kills those rebels. This will never hurt this movie. You know why? You know why it'll never hurt this movie? Because there is no Jyn Erso in this movie ever mentioned or in any of the films. In any of these. And guess what? This is still my favorite movie of all time. And you will never rape it, Disney. Never. Never, 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 never. To me, anything after 2013 is non-canon anymore. I love the Rebels cartoon because it's connected to the original without being insulting. Kanan, Ezra, and freaking Zeb, and Chopper, and Sabine, and freaking Hera, all those characters are better than anybody in this freaking movie. All of them are better. Kanan and Ezra can actually use lightsabers and can use the Force. This is just shoving the Force in our face. It's insulting. The story doesn't work. It's boring. I don't care about Jyn Erso's father. I don't care about Jyn Erso when she was a little girl. I don't care about the freaking characters. I don't care about the pseudo stormtroopers. You know what these stormtroopers look like? Those black stormtroopers? They look like this thing, which is also in the freaking movie. They look like these TIE fighter pilots on steroids. Or a rejected episode 7 character. And I'm sorry, the visual effects are not enough. You gotta give me characters I care about and a story I cared about, like this freaking movie did, and this freaking movie did, and these movies did. It wasn't just the visuals. It wasn't just the spectacle and the freaking action. We have to be invested. These characters, thank God they all die. All of them. Donnie Yen, the Asian guy with the machine gun, Jyn Erso, freaking Cassian Andor, the robot. Even the robot goes out in a pussified way. He's like doing something, and then he gets shot, and then he falls down. Johnny Five had more dignity in Short Circuit than this freaking robot. Alan Tudyk is not his fault. I'm going to blame the script. These are the same freaking writers that wrote Nutty Professor 2. Yeah, that's a classic. And I think they also freaking directed Golden Compass or wrote Golden Compass. That's how terrible this freaking movie was. This is not Star Wars to me. That's what I'm going to call this. Rogue One, this is not Star Wars story. That's what I'm going to call it. Because this is not Star Wars anymore. This is fan fiction, SJW, female-driven hybrid Star Wars hybrids. That's what this is. Oh my god, I need to just lie down. I hated this freaking movie. It's not just because of the nostalgia porn that they did. The Jurassic World was the start of this. Then Episode 7, now this, and also Fembusters. Guess what, Hollywood? Come up with something original. You know what was original that got crapped on and that did not make as much money as this movie? Passengers. That movie had flaws, but it wasn't boring. No, and I love Jennifer Lawrence. Screw the haters. She's gorgeous. That woman is so desirable. She could have 5 lines in the movie and I would find her desirable. Chris Pratt is better than freaking Cassian Andor. Diego Luna is going to be a horrible Scarface. I'm sorry. He's not going to top Al Pacino. He's not. I'm sorry. He's not. He's horrible. He's like, I want to go to disaster. Oh my god, where is Jean? He has an accent that's so freaking thick it makes Sofia Vergara look like an Oscar winner. I'm disgusted, guys. If you have never not seen Rogue One, don't. I'd rather see Episode 7 again because guess what? As bad as Daisy Ridley was, and I hate her, and I always will. I could fast forward her scenes because I already saw the movie, and at least Harrison Ford tried, and Carrie Fisher was there. Rest in peace. I love you, Carrie. I will miss you forever. I love you. Seeing your image at the end in CGI was insulting to me. Pissing on one of the greatest legacies in film history. Thank God Luke wasn't in this movie. Mark Hamill, bless you, sir. You're going to be the only reason I'm going to watch Episode 8. And if I change my mind in 2 years, I'll see Episode 9, but I'm not going to see it in the freaking theater the week it comes out. No freaking way. No way. If Episode 8 is good, I will see Episode 9. But every other standalone movie can suck it right down the freaking throat. This is why I hated the trailer last year. Star Wars is not supposed to be this pseudo serious freaking, oh my god, this is real. No. It's not supposed to be soulless and dry and bland and freaking boring. It's supposed to be fun like these movies were. These movies are better. Guardians of the Galaxy is better. That is my new Star Wars from now on, Disney. So f you. Okay? Take this and shove it. Kathleen Kennedy, male Star Wars fans don't matter? We're the biggest demographic of Star Wars fans in the freaking world. Ask my friends who are fans of this movie, or fans of Episode 7, or fans of the classic, the trilogy you're never going to destroy. Never. Ever destroy. Okay? You are never going to destroy that. I will love that trilogy until the day I die. And when I'm one with the Force, I don't have to deal with this BS anymore. Stop raping Star Wars, Disney and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams. Stop it. You're pissing me off. Freaking useless movie. This movie should have never been made. And I was interested in this movie, but after I saw Episode 7, I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. And I'm a better man because of it. I did not watch this in the theater. I would have left the theater pissed. I would have thrown a freaking tantrum. I would have thrown something at the screen. I would have been like, this was not needed. Andy Signor in Screen Junkies was right. This movie was just, these characters are boring. The story was boring. It was flat. The action meant nothing to me because the characters were not interesting. And it was pointless. I'd rather sit through Guardians again. Or this. This movie, the only thing this movie hurt this movie was a freaking villain. This movie has no villain. It's just stormtroopers and villains we've seen before. And CGI Peter Cushing with this general with a whip that gets like, who are you? I'm Jyn Erso. No. Felicity Jones, I hope you, Daisy Ridley, Emily Blunt, and every other British actress that has polluted our theaters in the last 10 years, I hope your careers die in 2020. I hope they never cease to exist and you never ever act again. Everyone. I know Emily Blunt's not in any of these films, but I don't care. Probably put her in another film. I'm tired of you Brits. I'm tired. I am tired. I'm burnt out. I see you everywhere. You're in every freaking movie. You're in every TV show. You're in every play. You're in everything. And I'm sick of it. Star Wars is not a British franchise. It's not Doctor Who. It's not freaking Game of Thrones. It's not Harry Potter. It's not Chronicles of Narnia. It is Star Wars. It's American made by George Lucas. That man I will love until the day he dies. He created this franchise, not Disney, not freaking the Lucasfilm producers that are making the movies now, not freaking J.J. Abrams. George Lucas himself, the one that wrote in this back right here. Let me read this to you because this is what Star Wars means to me. The appeal of Star Wars has gone beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I am pleased that for the final video release of the Star Wars in its original version, which I will always keep, we can present it with the best sound and picture quality yet available thanks to the THX digital mastering. In the years to come, I hope you, your children, and your children's children will enjoy not only this trilogy, but also the adventures yet to come in the continually unfolding Star Wars universe. This is not the Star Wars universe. When George Lucas wrote this, he meant the prequels. He meant the Rebels cartoon. He meant freaking Shadows of the Empire. He meant Old Republic, Dark Forces. I know this franchise like the back of my freaking hand, people. This movie, I'll forget about it by tomorrow because it's my mother's birthday. I don't want to be mad on her birthday. I love my mother. I hate this freaking movie. Screw Rogue One, the not Star Wars story, right in the face. And Disney, you're never gonna rape another franchise like this, ever. Thank God Deadpool is in better hands. Because if Disney made this movie, it would have been PG-13 and it wouldn't have had the impact that it did. This movie is way better. That's why it was my favorite movie of last year. But this movie can suck it all the way down, just like I said when I saw the trailer. Screw Rogue One, the rehashed, not Star Wars movie. Later.